Skin disorders are different in severity and symptoms. Some can be painful or painless and can be temporary or permanent. While most of it are not harmful, others are life-threatening. Hello and welcome. I'm Nonso, and on today's episode, I'm with Tobechukwu Okpala, who has a skin condition called Seborrheic Dermatitis. On today's episode, she'll be telling us how she has struggled with this and how she has been able to handle it. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll get right into our topic. Welcome back. This is Kalife Firm. If you're just joining us, you are right on time. I mentioned earlier that we're about to talk about seborrheic dermatitis, a skin condition that affects the scalp and the face. You're welcome, Tobechukwu.
Thank you very much, Nonso.
So, can you tell us a little about seborrheic dermatitis?
Seborrheic dermatitis is, some people say, the type of eczema.
Okay.
That appears on the skin. It happens majorly to people who have really oily skin.
Okay.
Yes. It comes, for some people, it appears on their scalp, causing dandruff, flakes. Appears on the face, particularly on the T-zone. That's the area between the forehead down to the nose, around the cheeks. It appears on the body, the chest areas, the back, even areas that are where we have the body folds, the elbow, sometimes around the armpits.
Okay. So you have this condition. What were the symptoms that made you realize that you needed to see the doctor?
Okay, my experience with seborrheic dermatitis started a while ago. It just started with some form of rash on my face, around my cheeks and my nose. So initially it was just something I felt, it's just normal. At certain point, it started looking like some type of pimple.
Okay.
Yeah, but I never even had pimples before then. So I just kept on managing it, feeling it would pass over time. But then it started getting worse, started becoming really itchy when I sweat, when I do stressful stuff. And then it started appearing on my back as well.
Wow.
That was when I knew, okay, I needed to see a doctor, a dermatologist precisely. And then I went to see one.
She said it just started not too long ago. So how long ago was it?
It actually started 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, June 2017. So by June 2020, it will be exactly 3 years now.
Wow. So what areas of you already mentioned them, your back. Are there other areas that you can affect in other people?
I think for some others, I don't know, I think around the waistline.
Okay.
Yeah, for some other people, yeah. But I think that's basically that. Just areas where the body produces oil a lot. It just goes there and dominates.
So you said you've had it for 3 years. Does it mean there is no cure to it, or are there things you can use to manage the situation?
There is actually no cure for it. So you just have to keep managing until it eventually stops.
So what are the things you use?
In recent times, I have drugs I've been taking from the hospital.
Okay.
And then I have also creams I have to apply on it to help me.
So does it mean when you don't apply, does it get worse?
Yes, it does.
How bad?
Okay, it gets really itchy and it can be really uncomfortable. Okay. So you don't expect me to come outside and start scratching and start acting funny, because the next person will not understand what I'm going through.
Yes.
Yeah. So it gets really itchy. So most times it's just best if my cream or my medication is done, I need to get them immediately, just so that I can be able to, because, okay, I think to a certain extent now, it looks better on my face. But when it's worse, it looks more than this, way more than this.
Wow. So what scared you the most when your doctor told you there was no cure?
You know how the human mind comes to play? I was thinking, this type of disease, no cure. It means it's probably really deadly.
Yeah.
Like, what if this thing is going to kill me? What would even people around me say? How would they react concerning this ailment and all of that? So it was really terrifying at the time. But thankfully, the doctor helped me through it to a certain extent.
Okay.
He made me read and understand the ailments properly so as to reduce my tension as a then. So it wasn't easy, but
wow.
we overcame.
So what aggravates this condition?
Okay, stress does, and then harsh weather conditions. So when it gets too hot, is an issue.
For you?
Yes.
So there's
because I
no
have to
way you
scratch.
manage it?
Like what I do in recent times, I just move around with this rechargeable hand fan.
Okay.
Yeah, so I use it to manage myself. So when it gets too hot, is a problem. When it gets too cold, like if I'm in an air-conditioned place,
Yes.
and the air starts getting really dry, it's a problem for
Oh.
me as well because my skin will feel like it's beginning to dry up and it starts feeling really itchy as well.
But how has this condition affected the way you relate to other people, or you relate with other people?
It has affected me negatively and positively as well. For a certain time, I was withdrawn.
Okay.
It was really becoming depressing for me. Mentally, physically, emotionally, I was
Wow.
affected. I stopped coming out.
Are you serious?
Yes, I wasn't, even when you call me up for events, or maybe you have a wedding and you tell me, I come, let's go. I tell you, okay, I'm coming, but you never see me there. I stayed indoors for almost 2 months without
Wow.
coming out. Even, so many things that I was just withdrawn, basically. I wasn't doing what I would have done normally with my pretty eventful self. So positively, because even though, let me say, still on the negative part,
Yeah.
I would say I also lost some friends in the process.
Wow.
People
Why?
who did not understand what I was going through at the time.
Okay.
So sometimes when people tell you, come, let's do this, let's do that, and you say you're not available, it becomes an issue because they're not seeing you. They don't know what you're going through. They just feel, is it not that this thing that was saw that day? Carry it and come out and all that type of stuff.
Okay.
So even the positive side, I still made some really cool friends
Yeah.
along
Great.
the way. And it also helped me learn to overcome it. I have really amazing family members. So they would not even let you know that there's anything going on with you.
Wow.
So we just live, and I learned to live the day as it came.
But how do people react when they see you? When they see the inflammation on your skin?
People react differently. There are people who can be really dramatic when they see you. Like, what is this thing on your face? So, what type of cream did you use? Are you bleaching?
Are you
What is
serious?
this? What is that? You know? And they'll be like, sure, some people will just start giving you solutions there and then, unconventional
Yeah.
solutions precisely. And then you still have people who would see you and be like, this thing, okay, what are we going to do? How do we go about it? You know, people who are term reasonable, because some people will just come and shout and they don't know what you're going through with your situation. So there are people who come and they just, okay, why have you seen a dermatologist? Have you been to the hospital? People who are actually genuinely concerned about your health situation.
I'm sure some people just stare at you. They don't
Exactly.
know what to say.
Yeah, they don't know what to say. Probably they don't even know you, but they just feel, God, what's this? And maybe you just hear side whispering and all of that, but...
So at what point in your life did you realize that, oh, I will not listen to what people are saying. I just have to go out. I have to do things.
I would say I'm still in the process of overcoming my fears.
Okay.
But I just decided over time that I can't come and kill myself, if I'll put it that way, because we have people who are suffering from worse cases. And then I have, like I said earlier, I have amazing people around me. So I've obviously learned to live with it and accept it as my cross, as I term it. So I decided to carry it gracefully.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing.
So what role did faith, or does faith, because you're still, so what role does faith play in your condition? How have you been able to use your faith to overcome your fears?
Initially, I lost every form of faith
Wow.
because I was like, why would God let this happen to me? So even then, I had to stop going to church as well. Because even in church, where you're supposed to come and feel relaxed and comfortable,
Yes.
that is where you still have most people telling you, what is this? Go and use this, go and do that. So it's obvious that even the church wasn't feeling like a safe place for me as
Okay.
at then too. So I was withdrawn. But over time, I say during one of my quiet time, I just remember the story of Job.
Yes.
And I was like, my case is not even as severe as Job's. And still he came out victorious.
Okay.
So I felt it's just a phase and then it will definitely pass with God on my side.
Yes. So what, can you just tell me the funniest thing that happened to you so far since you've had this condition?
I would say there was an instance then in 2017 when a friend of mine met me and he was on my way to the gym actually. So he was like, what's going on? Why is this thing on your face? What is it? I said, I don't know. There's a name, there's just one big name that they called it in the hospital and all. He said, hospital, okay. This thing looks like what somebody did, Joe. I said, who?
Are you serious?
He said, are you sure you did not fight with somebody over a guy? And probably this was her own revenge. I was like, no. He said, you did not snatch anybody's boyfriend. I said, no, I don't have the power to, please. So he was not like, okay. No, I just said, okay, thank you for your concern. And I was like, really? Is that all you could think of?
So I've heard people say for some skin conditions you use, for me, I find it very ridiculous.
Okay.
I've heard some solutions like use soda to bathe a child, maybe if they, in cases of measles and chicken pox. Yeah. What are some weird remedies that people have prescribed to you since your condition?
Some people have told me to use urine.
Ew.
And then we have people who, there's a woman that met me in the bus, someone that didn't even know me. She was like, you need to use palm oil, fry it with bitter leaf, apply it on your face, whatever. And I was like, okay, thank you, Ma. Because that's the highest I can do. I can't tell you is this, is that. I also said, okay, thank you, I appreciate. And then someone went as far as going to a traditional place, I don't know where, got me some stuffs that looked like sand.
Are you serious?
I had to apply some on my skin. I had to drink some. I had to use some to take my bath.
Wow.
And then because I just needed a solution, I did it for a little while. And then I paused, I was like, what if this thing is even endangering my system?
Yeah.
So I just had to stop it, and that was it.
So any words of encouragement for people who are facing the same condition as you are?
I would say it's okay to feel the way they feel. It's going to be an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
So if you feel like crying, if you're angry, anyhow, just react, provided you don't hurt yourself or hurt people around you. And then at the end of it, I feel you just have to be optimistic, Going to the fact that you need to believe that at the end of it all, there will definitely be a solution. It's a phase and it will definitely pass.
Yeah.
So that's the basic.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for
Thank
having
you
me.
so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you've learned one or two things about seborrheic dermatitis. We're not going anywhere until we meet with Know Your Faith. Stay with us.
It is a form of habit for us as Catholics to always bend one knee when we're getting into the church. I mean, a lot of us just do it these days because everyone is doing it, and we don't really actually know the significance of why we do it at all. Welcome to Know Your Faith series. I am Collins, and today we will be discussing why we genuflect before entering the church. According to the Catechism of the Catholic Church in paragraph 1378, it says that genuflection is a sign of reverence made by bending the knee, especially to the Blessed Sacrament. Now, like I said, a whole lot of us, once we get into the church, we have a common taking a bow, bending the knee, and now it's just for the, I wouldn't say fun of it, but simply because we got used to it or we met people doing it. But actually, if we check it, it's actually historical. The act of genuflecting actually comes from court etiquette. I mean, if you look into your tradition, before you get into the palace of your Oba or your Igwe or whatever king, you have to make some form of the Yorubas bow, and a whole lot of people just bend the knee. But there is some form of reverence given. So around the 16th centuries, the Christians decided to take that up as a form of respect or reverence. Now, to differentiate between the regular court etiquette and the reverence to God, we bend on the right knee, while the normal genuflections use the left knee. So this is just to differentiate between normal traditions and actual reverence to God. We acknowledge God as a king who is rich in love and mercy. And we also acknowledge the presence of the Holy Eucharist, that is Christ himself. So it's only normal that whenever we enter into his temple and his household, we give reference by bending one knee. Now, there are specific times to genuflect. I mean, generally when entering the church, because naturally the body and blood of Christ is inside the tabernacle. And the tabernacle is simply, say, the small house in the church where the Holy Eucharist is kept. So because naturally the Holy Eucharist is always inside the church, whenever you go inside, you have to genuflect. However, there are times during the liturgical year where the tabernacle is empty. Now, for example, it's Good Friday. On such a day, you just have to bow. That's like enough. I just bow, take a bow, and then go in, because it's not really necessary at that point to genuflect, as the Holy Eucharist is not present. Another time when we genuflect is when we say the Angelus, when we say, and the Word was made flesh and dwelt amongst us. And if you look at this, this is also reverencing the body and blood of Christ. So in essence, the reason why we genuflect is to give reverence to Christ and to acknowledge that he is our personal Lord and Savior. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned a couple of things. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to our page. Till we meet again, be bold and be Catholic.
Welcome back from Know Your Faith. I hope you learned one or two things about your faith. Thank you so much for sticking with us till the end of the show. Thank you so much, Tobechiku, for coming to share your experience with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Nonso.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Do you like my house? Do you like this place?
Yeah, it's actually really beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You can watch this episode and other episodes on our YouTube channel at Dominican Media Present. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. You can also follow us on social media at CFF on TV. You can drop your suggestions, your comments, whatever you want on our page, and we'll be sure to get back to you. Till I come your way next time, keep being saints in jeans and shirts.